Good morning. Good sessions, I hope. So we are back in here for our next session. And before we dive in, I'm super excited to introduce Alex from Higharc. We love Higharc and love Alex, of course. And he's going to do a sponsor presentation for us before we dive in. So you've got the clicker, Alex, I think.
See.
There you go.
We're good to go. Okay, perfect. All right, well, yeah, good morning, everyone. I can still say that. We got 10 minutes left. So as Melissa mentioned, I'm Alex Hunter. I'm the VP of Marketing at Higharc. Great to be with you today. And I'm excited just to introduce you to what we're up to and how we help builders. This is our third or fourth show now. It's been great. Enjoyed getting to meet a number of you folks already. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what Higharc does. Now, before I do that, I'm going to talk about why we're here. And I've been in the home building industry for about a year now, having spent most of my 17-year career building consumer hardware, smart speakers, iPhones, and so on and so forth out in the Valley. And so over the past year, I've spent a lot of time talking to builders and really learning and immersing myself in the space and realizing, like, man, this is a complex business. There's a lot that goes into putting together a home, hundreds of parts and tasks and people and everything. And the reoccurring theme that came up as I'm having these conversations is this challenge that builders, especially ones that want to grow and expand, and that comes to the sheer number of manual tasks and disconnected processes that they have to deal with on a regular basis, right? And the solution for the past 40, 50 years has been what I like to call whack-a-mole solutions. Every department goes out and gets a piece of software or some sort of solution. It could be anything from pen to paper to something fancy to solve their immediate problem. And the challenge with this is these things don't talk to each other. And so you end up with a lot of disconnected systems, and that creates frustration in your day-to-day work for not just the builder, but for the buyer and the trades as well. And now some of you may have stuff like this that's on your desk, redlined plan sets, marked up brochures, even some spreadsheets you've got to go through, right? Like that's a lot of extra work to have to work through all those changes especially. So, and this is not just us saying this, right? We did a recent survey a couple months ago, and we're hearing from folks like you that managing change, handling updates, especially like options, keeping everyone on the same page, this is tough. It takes a lot of time. It takes you away from doing what you do best, and that's building great homes and communities. So, Higharc, we want to solve this, right? This is why we're here. And we help home builders simplify their operations by giving you one connected platform. It's a single source of truth for you to design, sell, estimate, and build homes so you can get back to doing what you all do best. So where does that start, right? That comes together in what we call the home building cloud, which you saw at the beginning. All these teams are connected with one platform, and what we have is a centralized data engine that keeps everyone on the same page. And I'll explain a little bit more about how that works throughout the design to construction process. So that starts with designing your products, right? And designing those plans. And you can do that with incredible speed in Higharc. 10, sometimes even 100 times faster than traditional CAD, because you're generating models of homes using data versus drawing manual lines in a traditional CAD software application. So you can imagine the time savings that comes from that. And when you have a home that is data, that means you can make changes very easily, whether it's on one plan, 10 plans, 100, or 1,000. You can do that all in one place and manage all of your options in one place. And so the time savings for architecture or drafting becomes absolutely immense. And you're not doing that repetitive work, change in elevation, electrical, all these different plans with a lot of busy work. Now, once you've designed those plans and put those together in Higharc, you can manage all those options in one place, especially if you're on the operations side and you're thinking about like, hey, what do buyers want in my market or that market I want to go into? Well, I can do that centrally and control all those plans, option changes very easily, manage those lot releases. You can see I'm adjusting a few on the screen here. Like, hey, let's say I don't want to offer a screened-in porch on that particular model. That is just simply a toggle I can turn on and off. And this will then automatically show up to buyers. And they can look at all this starting with the community map right on your website. Now, speaking of buyers, wouldn't it be great if we could supercharge that sales process with a great buyer experience? And so when you have a home as a model that you've built out, you set your options, right? Now it's time to launch that community and start pre-sales. And so with Higharc, you get an online customization tool. You can showcase your beautiful homes in 3D right on your website, or like some of our customers like to do it in their sales center with their agents and walk through with that. Whether you have pricing on or off, it's up to you. And you get to market all that through these beautiful renderings that we'll do in just a matter of days rather than weeks of going back and forth with a third party trying to figure out, is that actually right? These are 100% accurate and in sync with that plan that you've built because it's all in one platform. Of course, the buyer gets to walk out of that sales center or from the website with a vision in their hand about what they're going to be purchasing with an instant lot-specific sales brochure, and it locks in like, hey, this is what I want to do, but I can come back and change that at any time if I open up the conversation with the builder again. And then that goes into, great, now I need to take control of the bid process. What is that home going to cost me to build, right? With our Procure product, you can go in and you can get a lot-specific takeoff instantly, see what that cost is between the base model of the home and what that buyer decided to pick in terms of their options, right? And hey, am I going to make enough money on this home, right? Is this going to be really the profit that I'm hoping for? You can visualize all this in 3D. Of course, this is without messy manual spreadsheets, which can save you a lot of time or back and forth with the third-party estimator. Now, we all need a plan set to build a home off of, and so we finish that process with an auto-generated CD, and whether it's on a master plan level or a lot-specific plan, you can have clean annotations, and this is 100% in sync with what that buyer configured on the website. These are not two separate systems you've got to try to integrate or talk to each other. So what gets bought gets built. And this makes it a lot easier for your construction and your trades teams to make sure they're putting up the right home. Now, don't just take my word for it. We have this really wonderful case study from last fall. They're actually one of these builders is actually here at the conference with us, and they're selling and building homes faster with Higharc and with unmatched efficiency. And so last fall, they were really in a pickle of with the potential of missing their number. Everyone was a little stressed out, and so they're like, all right, what do? We build brick homes. Where are our opportunities? And so they found a piece of distressed land. They decided to build a completely new product with cottages. I believe it's like 8 different elevations with different options on them, and they rapidly put together and launched a community in a matter of weeks. And the outcome of this was really phenomenal to see. They saved 15 days at least off their soft cycle time, $100,000 in not having to pay third-party fees, and made an additional $10 million in revenue. And so when we get Slack messages from our customers like that get a Christmas break, they're having a party at the office, they're sending us pictures of how happy they are with all these new homes. It reminds us of why we love doing what we do. And so that's a quick case study of some of the impact that Higharc's been able to have through technology. And so thank you all for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Now I get to sit down.
Great job.
Thank you.
So it's great. So if you've not had a chance to check out Higharc or connect, you have a few more hours today. Definitely connect up with them. All right, so we've been going through this week and we've been marching through the customer journey and we've covered quite a bit. What's fascinating to me is how these all tend to overlap in a way because we're very focused on the customer. And then this last topic, it's a little bit less here and now, but there is some here and now to it. But it's really about AI. And, we hear about it all the time. It's on the news. We play with it. Our kids have it. Some of you may be deeply immersed in it. There's all kinds of emotions about it. There's fear. There's excitement. There's trepidation. Some people even feel like we should have regulation around AI. So it's certainly a really juicy topic. But we felt like it was important to talk about today, and I would encourage you, I hope we have a little bit of time at the end for questions. I always say that, and sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But I do encourage you, if you've got some questions or comments or thoughts, it would be great as we wrap up towards the end to be able to do that. So the name of our session is Practical Almost Here and Now Applications for AI in the Builder Digital Solutions Stack. That's a mouthful. But anyway, it's about AI and home building and what it means to us. So we have assembled a really great panel, and they're all going to cover slightly different takes on AI, because it really does permeate everything. I was at the Consumer Electronics Show this year, and in the past, there was always like an AI section or an AI set of talks, and they just got away with calling it AI as a separate topic. AI is in everything. I mean, it's literally in everything. So it really is pervasive. It's a really critical topic that we understand and we start to dive into. So we have Barrett from NterNow with us today, and he's got an interesting little tool that he has actually developed for the industry. And then we have Alex that you just heard from on Higharc, and they have AI infused in their offerings. And then Meridith, who runs digital strategy and marketing for Shea Homes. She'll talk about it from kind of a marketing perspective. And then we have Rob down here without his Hawaiian shirt. I don't know where it is. I thought that was the new brand, the new look. But he's going to talk about kind of how his team is embracing it and some things they're doing, but also a little bit on leadership and how that applies to AI. So that is our lineup, and we're going to dive right in and start with Barrett.
All right. So in my free time, I decided to start another company, which doesn't mean I have very much free time at all. It's called homescribe.ai. It's completely free. It's like an open source project that me and some developers build for the home building community. So about a year ago when ChatGPT came out, I was so excited. I'm a nerd, engineer, programmer, all of the above. I was like, I can't wait till everybody uses it. I'm at IBS asking everybody how they use it every day. Most of the home builders, especially the sales and marketing people in the field, they're like, I don't even know what to type in. I don't even know what it is. What does it do? And so I was like, oh, that's where we are. So Homescribe was developed to be sort of like training wheels for our industry. It's a ChatGPT that's basically trained on home building data every night on the top 200 home builders. And we have 300 or 400 monthly active users, totally free. A lot of them are sales and marketing professionals. They're using it to change emails, et cetera. So that's basically what Homescribe is. So a little just education on like when to AI and when not to AI. And so when I have these conversations with different builders or different teams, that's the first question they ask me. When do I use it? When do I not use it? I don't really know what it does, but that's the first answer I hear a lot. And the best explanation I can give is that the difference between Google and what AI is giving us from like a search engine standpoint is that Google gives us a list of links. And the best example here is that I have a high ankle sprain and I have this crazy brace for my orthopedic person. I really didn't even know how to turn it on. My wife, or put it on, and my wife's a nurse too. We had to Google it. So when I Googled it, there's like random sponsor links. It's giving me the wrong link. I have to hunt. We spent like 5 minutes trying to figure out how to put on my brace on Google. The difference between AI and what's considered to be answer engines, so this is Perplexity, and I'll explain that in a second. Total free tool to use, but I put in my ankle brace, it gave me sources, it gave me the exact YouTube video, and it gave me steps 1 through 8, and it came out in a second. So the big difference when to use AI and when not to AI is when you want like an answer. So from a text or ChatGPT. Like when you're actually searching for a product or you're like discovering like what type of shoe to buy, definitely use Google. But I've replaced Google search on my phone with Perplexity and some of the tools I'm about to show you. So we'll go through Homescribe, and then we'll also talk about a little bit about some of the tools that are out there. So homescribe.ai, just like I talked about. It's sort of a free tool. There's a few engineers that support it. We get a lot of feedback from the community. Anytime it doesn't work, people let us know. Anytime they want a new feature, they'll send us a request and we build it. We work on it every week. It's a fun sort of passion project. And the idea is that there's education alongside of using the tool. So there's videos, there's like one-click things we call recipes, so you can actually like implement it in your day job. So we have like a library of like the best prompts or the best kind of tools to use for sales and marketing. One of the AI and the text generative tools, they can be creative and fun. Like to give you an example, we built something that's the community street name generator. People were running out of names. No joke. And so it's our most used little recipe. People love to play in it. It's like, what are our new communities or properties? What are we going to name these things? And so what's cool is you can put in since we're trained on home building data, it knows who you are and where you build. Like for instance, in Atlanta, I'll show you an example here. I couldn't do a live demo, so we've got screenshots, but basically, let's see, we've got, went too quickly. So in HomeScribe, on the right side of, if you've seen ChatGPT or any sort of the text tools, we have a chat library. So it's got hundreds of prompts, sales and marketing, PR. Somebody was like job descriptions. So we built in new online sales counselor job site. So it'll give you a whole template and you just fill it in with your information. We've got an OSC toolkit. Some of our, I think, sales trainers or different franchisees are in the room. You know, sometimes they use our platform to educate some of the new employees on how to use AI to be more productive. Definitely, when I talk to people, the easiest thing with HomeScribe or a tool like this is you can turn sometimes a new person or a C player into a B player. You can make an A player really effective. And so just some simple things around marketing or email generation are sort of built into this. It's very much like a get to use AI, get experience with it, and then it's starting to bake into a lot of tools, and they're going to talk about that today. So to give you an example with HomeScribe, you can click on one of our recipes or one of those links. You'll see here that in the purple, it's actually where you type in the template. It's already pre-prompted for you, pre-templated. That's why it's definitely HomeScribe's training wheel for AIs. It's just a very easy way of trying some things out. So this is the community street generator as an example. So I live in Atlanta, and if you know anything about Georgia, every street, every city is a peachy tree. And so if you actually see the first thing, because it's actually trained on the data, it actually ranked it in order, Peachtree Paradise. Wild
Nice.
is the community name. And so it started to come out with streets too. So just as an example of like, you can use AI for creativity, for productivity. You know, a person gave us a chat prompt recently. It was like, what's a community launch plan look like? You click on that, it just runs through what a community launch plan would look like. And it's been updated and trained based on like feedback people give us every day. So there's a few hundred people that use it every month. It's definitely a tool that's just to get used to it. You can use other AI things and stuff like that, but HomeScribe is specifically trained on home building data, so it'll give a little bit better results. Here's just one little example on an OSC outbound email. When you click on it, it will write basically a template of an email. It'll say hello, first name. It'll give a subject line. It's trained on home building, so it uses a lot of our language, a lot of our slogans, a lot of our adjectives. So you can customize like a few bullet points just for your builder or something specific about you, but you can crank out like a template. You can get ideation from it. It's just a great way of producing some content really quickly. We have what we call community recipes. So you can see like a list of different prompts that people use the most. And as I said, every week we sort of update them. And you'll see at the bottom right, Lexar Homes actually created one because they're actually reusing it to educate some of their teams. So, you know, we built this sort of community tool and it keeps evolving. So this is what a recipe looks like. It is truly training wheels. It has a how-to video where we're actually telling you what to type in. When it gives you a wrong answer, it tells you how to reprompt it. It has a description, so you know generally what the recipe does. And then it has what we call the recipe content, which is when you click the run button up there, it will actually run that content. So it will produce basically that with a templated variable in there, so you can just type it in. One of our most popular features is you can give it a property description link. And we built this into like Google, into SEO and things like that. It can take your property description and rewrite it in SEO enhance it, because it knows what SEO ranks. It knows SEO in your zip code. It knows SEO in general. So it will rewrite it, it reformats it, it can ideate or you can reuse it, but AI is always 80% right, 20% wrong. Take that for how it is. So never just copy and paste that out there. Don't recommend that. So here's just two links. You can scan this. This is a picture you can take. And so HomeScribe's free forever. The tool I was talking about is Perplexity. It sort of replaced my Google search on the phone. It has nothing to do with home building, but it just gives you the best example on how these types of technologies are truly replacing Google search. And sort of, these are called answer engines. And so the next version of SEO is becoming AEO, which is answer engine optimization. So just to give you an example, now that I only use Perplexity, if I type in what are the top 10 home builders in Dallas, it ranks them. it doesn't give me discovery links. It tells me exactly who the top 10 are. And to get on that list is going to be really important in the future. So a good example of getting started with AI and home building is homescribe.ai for sales and marketing and other things. And Perplexity is just a great tool. It's free to use, and it'll definitely give you an eye-opening to what search will look like. That's it.
That's great. That's awesome. I like the community name generator.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That's really fun. Have fun with that. All right. Well, next up we have Alex.
Cool. All right, AI and home building, the untapped opportunities for application design. And as you saw earlier, this is a key part of some of the technology that we're working on. Everyone has to design homes in some form or fashion. And so we found this to be quite fascinating and have it in the kind of almost here bucket. As a reminder, our mission as a company is to improve the quality and affordability of homes through technology. And right now, as you all have heard, that means AI in a really big way. So what can we do in this space from a design standpoint? Well, let's start kind of where we're at and what AI relies on, and that's fast computers. In 2024, our devices, right, that iPhone, or if you're so unfortunate to have an Android device, I had to throw a little bit of shade, in your pocket, it's got more computing power than all the supercomputers combined in the 21st century. And this image on the right is a self-driving car from a company like Waymo, and it's analyzing all these millions of data points in real time using computer vision. It's really cool if you have a chance in the Bay Area or Phoenix to go jump in one of these vehicles. An example of how AI is kind of enabling these new experiences. Now, with fast computers, right, on the left, this was the most powerful computer in 2000. These series of mainframes, I think it was like a 15 teraflops of processing power. But it's hard to visualize how far technology has come and how powerful things like an iPhone or a Pixel are in your pocket. It's absolutely amazing. And how many of you, I don't know how many of you were using CAD or AutoCAD in 2000? Probably a good majority of folks. 95% of homes in America are built with a system like that using 2D lines. And so today I'm not going to disparage AutoCAD, but more talking about, hey, what are the opportunities to make this even better for a builder when you're thinking about designing new homes? So why are fast computers important? Well, they can learn patterns. And when you're able to learn patterns, you have that processing power. You can find the relationships between patterns and then enable new experiences. And so this is an image of a Victorian house that's shape-shifting through different elevations and styles and stuff of that sort. But it's cool, right? Fun to look at. Not super practical for many of us in this room. Now, where do patterns start to become useful? Well, they can become useful when you take that data and start to make accurate predictions using that data by recognizing a pattern and then predicting what's next. Many of us have probably experienced this on an everyday basis, whether it's through a program like Netflix, providing recommendations for what you should watch next, financial apps and budgeting. This has become a really popular area for this type of stuff. So it's entering our lives in many ways through a consumer first side. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, when you have patterns, what you can do is then you can move into translation. And this is probably something that we're all familiar about from an AI perspective, text to text, text to image, right? Some of the prompts that Barrett talked about. Right? This is what you're able to do. This is a really cool image on the right-hand side of this home video of these two little girls, and then how AI is analyzing that and it can translate it into a cartoon style, right? It's just wild. And this is just a really basic example. And folks, like any of us in this room could do this without thousands of hours of training or thousands of dollars. And so it unlocks a lot of new potentials. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing co-pilots for everything across multiple industries, and it's coming to home building. And that is one of those industries, and it's starting to emerge and enable us to develop a deeper understanding of your working style and present more helpful solutions. I like to think of it as like AI accelerated workflows. And so whether you're writing code like you see here on the screen, marketing copy, or let's say designing a home. So what does it mean for home building and specifically design? Now, I'm not a former architect or drafter, so I got really excited about this because what this could unlock for someone that comes from not that space. Now, why did I pick design or why did Higharc pick design as an area to kind of invest and start to explore and do some prototypes in? Well, this was a stat from a recent study in ProBuilder. I think it was a February issue. design and planning is not really used from an AI. Home builders aren't using AI in this space. I do think it's probably a few percentage points. But all to say, lots of opportunities, right? Sales and marketing clearly is a big space right now. And there's a lot of companies that are investing in this area. And there's a lot of cool tech. You may have seen some of that here or at IBS and others. And so let's talk about concept number one, right? This idea that you could take a 3D model and create it from any plan. So I have a sales brochure here. And what you would be able to do is you could upload this or upload a plan and instantly get 3D models and take off in sales collateral, right? Because it's taking something that's a 2D, like a static image, and turning it into data. And so that plays out in our area called Studio right here. So I've uploaded this, and it's going to build that and render that on the right. And instantly, I've got this 3D model and this layout of this home, something that could have taken me hours or weeks to design. Now, as Barrett mentioned, right, it's this type of thing needs to learn over time. It's not perfect, but with a few hours of polish, I have a working model that I could actually sell to a buyer, which is pretty amazing. When I saw it, I was like, this is really incredible. Now, once you have that model, you could have a 3D model that you could spin around, but what if it was interactive? So this is also possible because the home is thought of as data. Everyone wants to see their home in rich detail, really be able to experience what it would be like to live in that home. I'm spending $500,000-$600,000 on this home. This is the biggest purchase of my life, right? I want to be able to interact with this thing. And so through the power of AI, you can translate that into this rich 3D detail without significant overhead. 3D has historically been super expensive, which is why no one's done it. But 3D is simply better. It's a richer experience for buyers, or if you're designing a home, you can get an idea of like what your product's actually going to feel like. Third, everyone can CAD. I love this GIF. If you haven't seen Ratatouille, by the way, great movie. Highly recommend it. The whole idea of everyone can cook. And so I thought it was very, very appropriate here. I'll give Michael Bergen, our VP of Product, major credit for this one. Because AI is also enabling new methods to design, from red lines, from text, or even voice instruction, right? The idea to create a plan or design a home from simply some prompts is really fascinating. And so we have a working prototype here in our studio product that allows me to enter this prompt for this 20 by 40 dwelling unit with a small kitchen, living area, bedroom, suite. I want a porch on it, and it should be in a farmhouse style. And so through this prompt, I can automatically put together that plan and that 3D model within a matter of seconds. And then I could spend some time updating that, adding to it, and so on and so forth. But like how much that accelerated that design process can change the game, for a builder that may not have a ton of people on staff, right? Or have drafting in-house, or even if you do, imagine what your team could get done, the amount of product innovation that you would be able to create using something like this. So we're really excited about where this is going, and it's neat to see it in working form within our platform. And so this all then leads into what we call a design co-pilot, design drafting co-pilot. I've got my plans, I've got all these homes built, right? I'm managing all my options. As I mentioned earlier, well, what if I need to change that, right? What if all of a sudden, what did I mention yesterday? I need dog showers in my laundry room, right? I've got to add that because consumers want it all of a sudden. Or I need to bump out a wall by 4 feet. Or the head of architecture walked through the model home and said, I don't like that, and now you've got to change that. How do you do that really quickly? Well, you could change hundreds of plans once you've got these homes thought of as data using that same machine vision technology, right? I can change dozens or hundreds of plans at once simply through text instruction or voice instruction and scale your business and manage that at scale across whether you've got 2 communities in the same state or maybe multiple communities in different states. And so when I saw Michael demo this, it was really amazing, and we anticipate this being a big thing for some of our customers. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not a drafter, and so on and so forth, and we all care about permit-ready plans, right? You've got to go through our wonderful municipalities to get these plans approved. So how do you avoid some hiccups, let's say, in that process, right? Through that power of the AI and that machine learning, I could apply rules common in home building that are known. And in this example, I'm checking like, hey, does this window meet the egress requirements in the state of Delaware? So I'm picking an element in my model, and I'm going to get feedback, is this a compliant design or not? If it's not, I can change it rather than having to kick that can down the road and have my plans rejected. And so this helps you find problems before they start, could be really meaningful to speed up that cycle time. So those are kind of our 5 ideas, and many of which are working right now. And so we're really excited to see where this goes, and hope that AI can collectively help us all build better homes and communities. So excited for the rest of the year, and that's what I got.
I mean, drop the mic. Yeah. I mean, it is interesting. Yeah.
I told them yesterday I have no show and tell, so.
No, but it is interesting because a lot of what we hear about AI is more in the marketing sales arena.
Right.
So this is kind of an interesting dive into that area.
Yep.
So that's great. All right, Meridith, take it away.
All right, so I'm going to remark on something that Alex kept doing that I think that maybe we all feel when we think about AI, which is mind blown, because there's just so much out there to keep track of. So what does a person in charge of digital strategy do for a builder? My job is to apply technology to really help us be smarter as a business. And many of you work for builders, so you know that that can be an uphill battle because we like our old solutions and we're a little stuck. So I also work on, taking out the technical debt that we've built over the years by not enhancing our solutions. So AI definitely falls in my wheelhouse, and I get questions like, what are we doing with this AI thing? Are we doing anything with that? What should we be doing with that? I was telling Melissa and asking for forgiveness because I was a little late with my slides, that I told my husband, I got to go in my office and be heads down and do this presentation. He was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, AI. He's like, I hate it. Okay. And I just looked at him and I walked away because I didn't want to get into it because I had to do the presentation. So last night I'm texting him like, so why do you hate AI? Like, can you explain this to me so I can talk to this group? And he's like, well, I can see the business applications, but I think from a personal perspective, it can be a little bit intrusive. And I think people have those feelings about it. Like, we just don't know where we're going with it. So I'm not going to give you a total history lesson here, but when I'm talking about a topic, I kind of like to look at the roots of it. I'm a little bit of a nerd, like Barrett said, so I'm happy to be up here with a fellow nerd. But I mean, AI's been around since the 50s, so it's like, why now? Like, why is this taking off now? And it's exactly what Alex said. Like, we didn't have the computing power before to handle any of this. The machines weren't up to par, and now they are, and it's moving super fast. And I thought it was interesting that when you look at the dictionary word of the year in 2023, one said AI, artificial intelligence, and one said authentic. And if you think about the definitions of those words, like AI, artificial, one of the definitions is sham or fake, or so, and then someone else is saying authentic. And I think that's where it's really important to consider that humans and AI need to come together to be successful, because you do want to be authentic, but you also want to use AI to make you smarter. So it's no wonder all of our minds are a little blown with all of this, and what do we do next? I'm not going to read all these predictions to you, but just by looking at the predictions, we see exponential growth. We see using AI for labor shortages, but we also see people afraid that they're going to lose their jobs. My second job at Shea is working very closely with our legal team. Are there any lawyers here? Before I say what I'm going to say, we've lovingly dubbed them the Department of Sales Prevention. Oh. So lawsuits are going to be big in AI. That's a prediction of huge growth. So our legal team is very involved in what we're doing with AI. Consumers are very concerned about misinformation. What's real? What's not? What am I getting? Am I reading the truth? But ChatGPT had 1 million users in its first 5 days. So people are using it, despite the concerns and the fears. Melissa mentioned regulations earlier. I read a quote that said, "We will need to have a serious conversation about machine policy and ethics, ironically both fundamentally human subjects, but for now, we'll allow AI to steadily improve and run amok in society." And I think that's just kind of funny, because that's kind of what's happening. It's everywhere. So I'm going to talk about some things that we're doing with AI. Nothing earth-shattering, but just to get into it and see how we can use it to improve our business. So some of you may have met with Atlas RTX. They're here. They have a chatbot tool. It's reading our website feed for our information. It's really been great for us in that it's given us the opportunity to have 24/7 availability to our customers. and 65%, which is a pretty industry standard for them, of our customers are using it after hours. It's walking customers through our website, and it's getting to that lead generation point, which is really important for us. When we had human agents doing the live chat live, we got a lot of junk, like, where do I find a job? How do I do this? The chatbot really flows the people through, and we've increased our leads by 70% from our old human man chat by using the Atlas RTX chatbot. So that's been huge for us. We're also looking at how can that chatbot be implemented into our self-tour solution. So when someone's in a house, the chatbot can text them and ask them if they have questions. A little creepy because it knows you're in the house because you used your code. But if you're walking around that house and you have a question, we can put QR codes anywhere. But how do we operate that tour when someone's by themselves? Because again, one of the things that Shea we consider is most important are sales agents. And when you're touring, you're not getting that relationship with them. How do you make that self-tour experience a little more human while using technology? So we're looking at things like that. Data analysis and customer satisfaction, I'm going to put those two together, but AI is great for number crunching and recognizing trends and things that are super tedious. Like, I'm a total spreadsheet geek, but when something can crunch all those spreadsheets together, that makes my life a lot easier. But you still need humans to oversee those algorithms, or who knows what you're going to get. And when I was doing this presentation, I started thinking a lot about the movie Hidden Figures. Has everyone seen that movie? They literally called the department of the ladies that sat there and do the computing department, because they didn't have the computers to do those jobs yet. Well, then they got them, and Dorothy Vaughan was brilliant enough to train herself on those computers so she could have her whole team come in and not lose their jobs and work on the IBMs. And I think even back then, that was just a testament to how humans and machines need to work together. And before John Glenn took off, he said, I don't care what the IBM said, I want to know what Katherine Johnson said about the numbers before he's gonna take off in the machine. So I think even though that was a while ago, that's just like what we're dealing with today and what we need to think about. So if you haven't seen that movie, it's a great one, you should take a look. We're using dynamic advertising. So instead of making little ads that we're sending to Google, we're sending them pictures and copy, they're putting things together, they test what works the best. They run the ads more that work the best. So that's been really great for us, but you have to be careful. We tried this on Bing and they don't let you pick your pictures. So our ads were just showing up with anyone's house, or maybe even not a house, or maybe a boat. So we stopped that for a little while and we've moved along. So again, always have to be watching what you're doing with AI, because it is not perfect. Generative AI, I'm really super happy about HomeScribe. I will share that from an IT perspective. I cannot use ChatGPT at work because our IT team has deemed it risky and could be prone to viruses. So they have recommended Bing Copilot, just in case you're wondering. But I do use ChatGPT on my personal computer. This is nothing new. We had social media blocked for a while too, back in the day. But that is a concern. Are all these new tools that are coming out safe? So HomeScribe, I think that's awesome. I hope my IT team doesn't find out about it, because I do want to use it and don't want to be blocked. So I won't be telling them that. Okay, good. Let's keep it that way. But just super simple things like write a tagline for Shea Homes, write an article about home building. We're paying agencies to do this work that we can do with ChatGPT, and like I got a longer list than this, and some of them like, oh, I never really thought of that one. That one's kind of cool. And I think you can do a lot of stuff with it, but again, you just have to be careful and make sure that you're checking all the things that you're doing with it. You want it to be in your brand voice, no false claims, run it by your legal, use SEO filters to make sure. Just new tools are coming out every day. One of the resources that I love is a newsletter called Ben's Bites, and he basically like sends out all kinds of just lists of AI tools that are coming out that you can try. And he gives you updates, like now Google's doing this with theirs and Microsoft's doing this. It's really cool, but it is actually like, it can make your head spin how much is out there. So it's cool to just give them a try. Adobe has a new AI platform with their photos that one of our teams, who here ever submits for awards at like builder award shows or anything. When you submit for those, that's a big task to get that package together. We had our team just do the MAME in Arizona, and we submitted for 22 awards. So the girl who had to do that work It was a lot. So she tried to use Adobe AI to put furniture on a flat floor plan instead of dragging furniture in, and she was done in 5 minutes. Before, that would have taken her forever. She's also tried Adobe AI to furnish our quick move-in homes. We use another company for that outside called Box Brownie, and she used AI for that, not so much. So you have to be careful in what you're doing. Like, these were from a year ago, but I do really love to show them because I typed in, like, show me people buying a home. They look like the hills have eyes. Like, it's really scary. So obviously wouldn't use this in your marketing, but as time goes on, things improve. Like Adobe, again, has a tool where you can plot pictures on backgrounds. You could put your home on 4 seasons of the year to show their customer what their home's gonna look at during different seasons. I mean, you can just do tons of stuff with it. And here's another tool. That I think this tool is really cool because I don't like making videos, but I have to. You just upload your script to this video tool and they'll have someone read the script and make the video for you. And I'm like, that is a huge time saver because think of how long it takes you to do your own videos. One of the things that we're also doing is we're implementing Marketing Cloud with Salesforce, and they have a whole Einstein analytics platform, so it's going to help us build our audiences and target our audiences. But as a builder with fair housing laws, that's something you have to be very careful with. So I'm looking at everything from a data technology standpoint and a legal standpoint to make sure we're following all those rules. So here comes the fun part, which is use it, but be careful. There are a lot of questions right now, like who owns the content that ChatGPT made for you? Who owns the photo when you used your own and someone else? There's talk about watermarking things. Our ad agency recommended that when we write a blog, that we have the actual author on the blog because, and I'm like, well, you write some of them, so are you the author? Who's the author? Because now Google is giving you a higher authority score if your content is by a person and not AI, and you're trying to distinguish that. There's a lot of stuff going on. The SAG-AFTRA strike, that was because people didn't want them using their likenesses over and over again in AI or creating fake people to use in movies. The Ben's Bite's been covering some of the drama around Drake. Last year, someone released a song that was an actual song written, but they used Drake and The Weeknd's voices. And the Grammy said it could be nominated because someone wrote the song, even though he used someone else's voices to sing the song. They changed their mind on that, and that didn't happen. And since then, we've seen the Beatles, where they used AI generated to fix John Lennon's voice and to release a new song. And now Drake released a diss track towards another rapper last week that he used AI for Snoop Dogg and someone else, and it's just like in Tupac. So it's crazy, just all the things you can do, but how as a customer do you know that it's real? So what I would say overall is, be brave, give things a try, have your hidden figures moment. Be careful though, like just look at everything, make sure that it's correct, and then be authentic. You don't want to lose your brand voice to, using AI for convenience. You still want to be yourself. So
wow,
that is it.
That was really great, Meridith. Very useful tips. Although I'm learning about you, you're in stealth mode from your IT department. You do everything in stealth, which that doesn't surprise me. And then the Department of Sales Prevention, the legal department. There are other departments that are sometimes sales prevention, but that was really useful. I mean, it was just that was some very practical, useful applications with a little bit of not fear, but caution. A little bit of caution.
Good thing this isn't recorded, right?
I know. I know my team won't find it. So
there is evidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's evidence. We call them that department to their face.
I love it. All right, Rob, take it away.
All right, let's change things up a little bit. How many home builders are in the room, if I might ask? Please put your hands up. And how many of you are marketers? A few. How many of you figured AI out? Okay. So you have, great, that's fantastic.
He should come up here, I think.
Yeah, come up here.
Yeah.
Come on, Josh.
So I just want to let you know, I'm here to make you all feel better. If you've figured it out after I'm done, you're gonna feel better about yourself. And if you haven't figured it out by the time I'm done, you're gonna feel better about yourself. This is a feel-good session. For those of you that haven't, you're probably feeling a little bit like this. We've heard some of those comments up here. A little overwhelmed, a little lost, trying to figure out, what do I do next? I think that really speaks to a lot of us. And we go to these conferences, we've been to IBS, and there's so many people that look good, sound good, dress well, got great shoes. I know that's big for you, Melissa, good shoes. I don't have great shoes. And they've got case studies, and they talk about best practices, and they've got impressive metrics, and they all put them up on the screen, and we're all going, oh my God, what the hell is it? Who are they, and how much money do they have? But in comparison, they leave me and probably some of you feeling like this, because I feel like this now. I'm sitting up here on this panel feeling this way, eyes spinning, not sure what's next. Some of that's because I still have a stamp on my hand from last night. That's a little bit of the head spinning, but
I got mine off.
this is our reality, is that we're all dealing with something new that's come along. And I'd like to provide you a safe space. We did generational study the other night. We talked about safe spaces. This is going to be a safe space, just you and me talking, having a conversation. A place we can all get real for a minute, a place we can take a deep breath, relax, and have a moment of Zen where we can feel like this. That's what we're all looking at. Take a deep breath, slow down a minute. I'm going to talk slower because everybody's talking so fast. I'm going to talk slower because that's kind of how my brain processes. So I'm Rob Krohn. I'm the VP of Marketing for Epcon Communities. I'm here to be the anti-case study, if that makes sense to you. We are a 55-plus home builder. We build in 6 markets: Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Raleigh, Charlotte, Atlanta, and Nashville. We also have a franchise system of 80 builders across the country in 25 states. I end up being the consultant to not only our corporate entity that's trying to sell homes, but to all of our builders around the country so that they can learn about what we're doing and what we're trying to do. When you think about 55 plus, let me just put this clear in your mind. We are tacos and tequila. We are not wheelchairs and walkers. We are the 20 to 30 years before that comes along. This is freshman year in college. Everybody's the same age. They're wanting to hang out, do progressive parties, that sort of thing, just to get that in everybody's mind. What's that? I know, I got connections. If you're looking for a house, I got connections. So many of our builders are small. They don't have a lot of employees. They have small budgets, small staffs. And on behalf of them and some of you, I'm here to represent the builders that haven't figured AI out yet. In fact, we really haven't gotten started to a large degree. And hopefully you recognize that. But it feels like we've been here before. In our minds, there's been augmented reality, virtual tours. We're having to adapt to new things all the time. Now, forgive me as I do this. Throw in self-tours, chatbots, visualizers, product selections, generational research, buyer surveys, data analytics, Facebook and Apple changing their rules on us, Google changing their algorithms and going to GA4. We were launching new websites. We've got inflation, interest rates, small staff, smaller budgets. We're attending conferences so that we can absorb all this stuff. Online reviews, social media, onboarding new employees. There's a lot, as marketers of home builders, that we have to absorb. COVID hit, we had to adjust to that. But then AI came along, and it feels like to me in January of 2023, although it's been around since the 50s, I think it really started to hit our consciousness in January 2023. And then we went to IBS and everybody wanted to know about AI, and I'm like, well, I don't think we're ready yet. But here we are a year later, and it's still overwhelming. But it just seems bigger. AI seems bigger. Like the launch of the web and all the things that came along with it were there. But things are never going to be as simple as they are today. Tomorrow they're going to be more complex. The day after that, they're going to be more complex. But we all have to step back a second and say, we have to realize AI is not fully flushed yet. It's not a fully flushed product. The people that build it don't even know what it's capable of and are learning on the go. Well, we didn't know it did that. So no one's figured it out. Everybody says they're an expert, but are they really? I think we're all in the 3rd year of building websites. Go back to 1997 for that matter. That's really where we are and how things have evolved since then. And how do we need to evolve between now and what's coming so that we've taken our builders and we are prepared for whatever's on the horizon, whatever's being launched, and how we can put it into use. everyone is really racing to be that expert and to offer solutions. And we're just sitting there going, what in the world is coming at us? So I'd like to walk you through a couple baby steps that we're taking at my company, that we have been taking and are taking. Babies are a great comparison. And if you think about it, they learn because they're not afraid. They touch buttons, they do random things, they stick things in their mouth, they may touch it with their toes, they don't care. They're just learning, they're just testing and seeing what happens, and then they learn over time because they're just not afraid to test things. We're all too busy trying to be efficient and maximize every minute of our day because we have all of these things we've got to juggle. But we've forgotten how to just play. So let's talk about some playing that I did when ChatGPT kind of first came out. Write a haiku about how much I love my wife. Wonder what that's going to do. I mean, this was literally the first thing I typed in. And there we go. We come up with a haiku. Well, I'm not a poetry expert. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know anything about haikus, but I'm like, well, that's kind of fun.
Did she like it?
Well, I didn't show it to her.
Okay, Rob.
She'd be, you're dumb. So the next thing I did, and this is in all seriousness, I'm a Foo Fighters fan.
Hey.
So I'm like, write a song in the style of Foo Fighters and I just did this one. I did a Foo Fighters song then, but I used the solar eclipse just this past week. A song in the style of Foo Fighters that discusses the solar eclipse. It whipped something out. Well, that's kind of fun. I don't know if it's any good. You know, I'm not going to put it to music or do anything. But it was just I wasn't afraid to just jump in and try some things. And I did this a year ago, these types of things. But then how have we evolved? We got back from IBS this year, and I went to my team, and I gave them permission to play. Literally, you go and you hear the speakers, and you hear these great things and stuff everybody's doing, and you write these notes. And then everything gets into deadline and pressure to perform and generate leads that generate sales. And I gave my team permission to just go play. Find an hour or two here and there and just dabble. See what things can do. And then I said, by the end of March, I want you to take some of the things you heard at IBS and go do them. Go figure out how to execute them. I don't care what it produces. I don't care if it's any good. Just learn to use it in practical applications. So some of the things that we've been doing since is taking an original blog that we wrote and said, make this blog into 5 social posts. And it took the blog and knocked it out. And that's a very simple prompt direction that we gave to it. Then we got a little bit more specific. I'm sorry, that'll be the next example. But we've taken those and we've turned them into blog posts. Now, there is the human need to go in and adjust them and fix the wording so it fits a little bit better with us, but 85% of the work was done. We make sure legal approves it, because in our company, everything has to go through legal and get approved. But how do we just take these simple tasks and start to execute on them? Another example, home design descriptions. Oh my God, we all love to do that, don't we? It's literally the same home design 5 different ways, and we got to keep coming up with new ways to describe them. So we have our original home design description, and we just said improve it. That's it. That was the prompt. Just make this better, improve it. And it spit out a new home design. And this is where we got into more detail. Rewrite and include an opening paragraph, 3 to 4 bullet points, and a closing sentence. And each time you come up with more in-depth prompts, you get different results. And we're learning how to use these tools by what it's giving us back and what those results look like for us. We're doing it in a lot of different ways. With our blog articles, writing them from scratch, community website descriptions, responses for comments on Google reviews, brand guideline updates, social media posts, award entries, as we mentioned here. And we are more advanced in several other ways. We're not completely dumbed down to where we're still crawling, but we use Higharc, we use Atlas RTX. So there is that work that's going on throughout the company. But I just wanted to be the anti-case study. We've got it all figured out, and let you just feel it's okay. It's okay if you're just getting started. But it's time. It's really time to allow your teams to spend an hour, wasting an hour in normal business speak, but in reality, your team is learning the tools, how they work, how to write prompts, and what responses can come out of it. Another quick practical application, just taking photos. We all have a product that are on development, being built. This one has a really nice sunny day in Columbus with lots of clouds and no grass. So it was circling that area and just say green grass, and it filled it in. And then I circled around the sky and I said blue sky. Now, I'm a graphic designer as well, so I've spent hours doing things like this in the past, and I did this in all of 3 minutes. And now I've got a photo that much better represents our homes, our communities, and our product. These are the kind of things I'm trying to bring A, to our team, but B, to our builders across the country, and just showing them simple things they can do to make them more efficient over time. And last, if you want to see the encyclopedia of AI, Futurepedia, anything you kind of want to do, you just write it out there and say, I'm looking to do this, and it can show you an AI application that can help you do it. So if there's any one thing of value and you want to write it down, that's a really good resource. So hopefully I'm the anti-case study, but in a way, some of you can relate to that.
Oh, that was excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the little haiku too. Maybe you should give it to her. I don't know.
I wrote this, honey. I did.
Yeah. All right. So we are out of time as usual. We have so much to talk about. I want to take like 10 seconds per panelist. What's your one biggest piece of advice?
Try that perplexity thing I was saying. It's definitely completely replaced Google search, and you'll start to understand really where the future's going quick without blue links. So.
Great.
Yeah. Is by Higharc a good example? No, probably not. That's probably a bit too direct. I think on the AI side, I'm kind of with Rob. Just think about a few use cases and just start trying, right? Be curious, I think is really important. That's how I started in discovering all these different tools, especially on the marketing side. Yeah, just have that sense of curiosity and just jump right in.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Just you have to try it at some point, but I would say start thinking about the future for your content. Because of tools like Perplexity, the blue links aren't going to matter anymore. The search algorithms are going to be different. So future planning so that your site will work well with AI.
Take a deep breath. Relax. Give yourself and others in your team permission to play. That's how we're going to get better.
Excellent. All right. Well, I want to thank all of you for spending the week and coming in here and spending time with us in these sessions, and everybody at the conference. Really appreciate you and the input that we've had. Thank you so much.